computer. Recording just started. Let me think of an intro. Finish this text message. Okay. It's getting dirty. It's getting grimy. It's now week 7 of the NFL season. Getting through week 6, we saw a lot of high matchups, a lot of upsets, and the picture of the NFL might be a little bit more unclear than we originally thought. As always, MnM Going Deep, week 7. I'm your host, Kyle McCumber, and my co-host, Cole Mueller. How you doing, Cole?
That was good. That was probably your best intro you've done so far.
Oh, that's my best. Ooh, I'll mark that down in the sheets. Week
I never
7,
know.
best
I never know
intro.
which direction you can go with this. So it's kind of just a
It's all off the
unscripted.
dome. It's never planned. We always start recording like a little bit before, and we have like a little talk, and then I just boom, 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 rally it. Packers were on bye. How'd you feel about that? And also, they were played on Monday night, so we didn't talk about how that whole thing played out. So I think we should start at the top, kind of recap that Monday night because that's your team. And how do you feel about the bye week and then heading into this game at Denver? Or we'll save that for later.
Yeah. I just think we have, as I said on the last episode, one of those teams that can beat and lose to anybody. We're a very inconsistent but talented team. Everyone in a fan base with chaos, people just want to start pointing fingers at everything and everyone. And right now, there's just a lot of Packers fans that are questioning the early season success of Jordan Love with some of the offensive woes we've had. I think the Packers we're going to be an inconsistent but fun team to watch. That was a frustrating game. Max Crosby completely dominated and wrecked the entire football field for
We
the whole 60 minutes.
we said that going into the game last Monday when we recorded.
And the thing is, you know, that's not something teams aren't aware of. Everyone knows Max Crosby is the guy you circle on that defense.
Yep.
And there are several different things that have came up throughout that game, the opportunities that we had to win that football game. So it's another frustrating loss for the Packers. It's not just one of those games where that's a winnable game. Like I said, that's something that it's not a must-win game, but if you want to be in contention for the playoffs come December, that's the type of football game you have to win. Just like the Falcons in Atlanta. You have
Yeah.
to win those road games against teams that are lesser talent teams than you have. But
To your benefit, a lot of these NFC teams that we talked about last week with the wild card picture of the NFC did lose. Seahawks lost, Falcons lost. Um, who else was there?
Buccaneers
Buccaneers
lost,
lost.
Saints
Uh,
lost.
yep. And but the only problem is Commanders got to win. Um, who else? And the Vikings got to win.
Yeah.
Um, I was gonna text you and be like, "Hey, helping you out, AFC beating NFC teams when the Browns beat the 49ers." But I don't think that one's gonna help you
Yeah,
that
we're not
much.
competing. We're not competing with the
Yeah.
Niners, but it was still something that was enjoyable to see.
Well, I think that's a good segue. Let's get right into boom, first down, baby.
Yeah,
Move them
first
chains.
first game we have
Thursday night.
Broncos and Chiefs. Chiefs 10.5 point favorites. This was a like Broncos at first. I remember I didn't watch the first quarter of the football game. I was watching Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows. Shout out.
Nice, nice.
And
Daniel Radcliffe. Boom.
okay
Emma
actor.
Watson.
Kind of overrated. Emma Watson's fantastic.
Phenomenal.
Broncos at Chiefs. I'm like, okay, so guessing like this game's going to be 14-3 when I turn it on in the second quarter. Just guessing the score before because I didn't have any updates or anything. 3-0 Chiefs. And then the Chiefs just went for it again and didn't get it. So 2 fourth down attempts. Both did not get it in the first half. The problem was the Broncos had zero offense.
Yeah.
A complete inability to move the ball at all. So it just seems like it's going to be one of those things where Broncos struggle and the Chiefs continue to, find ways to win games even when it's not pretty.
When it's not pretty. Yeah. A little interesting tidbit here is I think that we could chalk this probably up to these two teams know each other, AFC West, rivals. But, you think back at the Broncos opponents, the Bears, the Commanders, who else we got there? Who else did the Broncos play? I can't think of it off the top of my head, but a bunch of their opponents, well, all of them put up more points than the Chiefs just did against the Broncos. And the Chiefs defense held Russell Wilson to 95 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and he was sacked 4 times.
I mean, that's not good enough, obviously.
Is it something that like the Chiefs offense is just not clicking? Because you have all these young wide receivers, Sky Moore, Justin Ross. You lose kind of like your dependable guys. Like Marquez Valdez-Scantling isn't like a name that pops off the page.
I mean, you got no problem with the Chiefs if you're a fan of that team because of Pat Mahomes has found ways to win with guys that are lesser than the elite talent around. Think about this, if you put Pat Mahomes on the Commanders, and I'm not saying Sam Howell is dog shit. Like I think Sam Howell's played himself into a starting role in the NFL so far, but Pat Mahomes, you look at Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson,
Curtis Samuel,
like fucking Logan Thomas. Like they have a good offensive core that's just like if they had that on the Chiefs, you'll take that over the Chiefs, I think, lineup for offensive weapons. And
probably
Pacheco is good, but I mean still, but that's just something to think about. Like the Chiefs elite with their play calling and their quarterback. And
he's still got old reliable too, Mr. Travis Kelce, 9 targets, 124 yards. Like Travis Kelce, always going to be there. Always open. 7-Eleven, like Jamar Chase.
Speaking of Jamar Chase, shall we move to the AFC North where we talk Ravens at Titans?
The London game.
Yeah,
right?
That was a good game. Even though it was like field goal. I had Justin Tuck on my fantasy team, and I love to see 4th down stops or 3rd down stops, I should say, from the Tennessee Titans. Mike Vrabel's just got to be, grimacing because they got the momentum back in that end of the 3rd quarter. They were like, everyone thought the Titans were going to win that football game, in my opinion. Like they came back big. I don't know. You were out in the field for this one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The box score might not really show like through the highlights, but the Ravens were up dominant fashion. And then Titans just came back, showed their way through and scored twice, interception off Lamar Jackson, got a touchdown. And then Ryan Tannehill gets hurt. Malik Willis comes in the game and it was over from there.
Is that a surprise to you that Malik Willis came in over Will Levis?
I think it was, or not really was. I think it was the right call.
Yeah. A couple more years the NFL has made an NFL start before.
Yeah, like one more year. But I think going into next week, if Ryan Tannehill can't make it,
it's going to be a tough call.
You're looking at I think you bring Will Levis in, at least see what he has. If he has a starting caliber like just charisma to him. If he can
Mhm.
play football, has some awareness, has the natural things that you're looking for in a, starting quarterback in the league.
Yeah, that's
And
a
then,
weird backup quarterback scenario where you drafted one guy, 2 years ago in the third round. He made an NFL start, didn't look great. And then you drafted another guy this year in the second round.
yeah,
Very, very peculiar. You don't see that a lot. But, the Titans were trying to address the fact that Ryan Tannehill's getting up there in age and they're going to need a guy.
yeah,
Yeah, I heard about this game. Titans defense keeping them in the game, and Ravens red zone offense just kind of sputtering. That's not what I thought would be the Ravens offense with getting that Georgia offensive coordinator Todd Monken in there, kind of spread the field for Lamar Jackson, maybe throw him some more, throw some more instead of running him so much. But maybe the Ravens should falter back to that and they get closer into the red zone, utilize Lamar's legs a little bit more, use them as a weapon, and maybe don't use his legs so much in the middle of the field type deal, so that they can put points on the board. Because seems to be a consistent thing with the Ravens now. Last week against the Steelers, this week against the Titans, just stalling once they get onto the other side of the field.
yeah.
I mean, it's great to have a weapon like Justin Tucker, who can kick 60-yard field goals, but 7 points is a lot more than 3. Well, 4 more, but
Speaking of 7 points versus 3, Commanders and no, let's do Commanders Falcons.
Commanders Falcons.
Washington,
That
that
was
was
my
just,
upset of the week, baby. Washington over the Falcons and Desmond Ritter's home winning streak since it dated back to like his junior year of high school.
and here's the thing about that is that was like a Sam Howell coming out game of he looked really good throughout the entire game. He looked like like a blue chip court, not a blue chip, but not a Pro Bowl guy. I don't think he'll ever be that type of player.
A guy that
But
can handle himself in the NFL.
yeah, like you showed me like Geno Smith and his inability to like, make some plays down the stretch against the Bengals. Not all his fault, but like I think Sam Howell is definitely someone that can win football games in the NFL.
And I think this is a great, I talked about it last week from when we recorded that Sam Howell had a really down game against the Bears. Like you're going to have those games. And that's why I picked them as my upset of the week, seeing that the Falcons were favored at home, thinking that I don't think Sam Howell will have another down game against an opponent that's kind of on your level in like caliber. A lot of people gave hats off to the Falcons defense. They kind of kept them in this game with Calais Campbell, Bud Dupree, Grady Jarrett, and Arnold Ebikati, each getting 1 sack. So that helps them. But is I mentioned this too last week when we previewed this game. Do you think Taylor Heineke could have won this game for the Falcons? Because I think so.
I don't know. I don't think Desmond Ritter was the massive reason why they lost that football game. I thought the Commanders defense was really putting the whole offensive line of the Falcons in a tough spot throughout the game. So it was going to ultimately, like, I'm not going to say Taylor Heineke couldn't get them out of some spots and make some crazy off platform throws and just kind of do some like off the cuff stuff. But at the same time, that kind of stuff doesn't always work for Taylor Heineke. And that's why he got benched, is because he'll have fluky games.
I understand your point, but the thing that I'm saying is, uh, Desmond Ritter turned the ball over like in the Commanders end of the field one time, and then the Commanders got a punt return, but like 2 interceptions. That's not great.
Take his job.
Me,
Tell him he's done. Put in Taylor Heineke.
I don't know. That's an Arthur Smith call. Bijan Robinson continues to make amazing catches. I saw that one-handed catch that he had. But let's press on.
Next one we got Seahawks at Bengals. This was a fun game. I don't get how I mean, kind of shocking that the Bengals were able to win that football game. It looked like the Seahawks really were the better team throughout the game, down the stretch, and then Geno Smith on that sequence in the last series of the game with the final minute of the fourth quarter, the back-to-back downs where the defensive line just collapses and
Yeah.
unable to make anything happen. Just kind of a depressing loss for the Seahawks, especially when they think they can win that game.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bengals are back a little bit. You like that if you're a Bengals fan, slowly, stacking wins.
Yeah, that's another good game. Joe Burrow apparently like ran after one of his touchdown passes with like full speed, and he looked like really good doing that. So Bengals fans were like pumped up about that. Um, Besides the two drives that the Bengals had to score touchdowns, they only had like 85 yards
Hmm?
in the game. Like take those two drives away, they had like 85 yards. So the Seahawks defense pretty legit. Witherspoon and Woolen on the outside. Jamar Chase kind of got held in check a little bit. He talked some smack earlier in the week about Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon. Um, yeah, a little weird. And then also you had a DK Metcalf like weird penalty in this game that really cost the Seahawks, where he just shoved a defender down after the play. And I don't know what you take away out of this game as a Seahawks fan.
As in,
As in like the state of your team. Like this is an opponent that you probably are on the same caliber on. Bengals have Super Bowl hopes. The Seahawks are trying to catch the 49ers. Like this is a I would say this is a down game, especially because if you win this game and the 49ers still lose, you're tied in the standings.
yeah. I mean, the Seahawks are a playoff team.
100%.
They're gonna be
But
they're
this
gonna
is
be
the what I'm saying is like this is the game they needed to have in hand to be tied with the 49ers. If the 40 like eliminate the room, basically, what I'm saying. Like
they're not going to.
that marginal difference. Like put the pressure on the 49ers to continuously win because the 49ers schedule is cupcake.
Yeah. That's optimistic to think they have a chance at winning that division, but again, you're right. In their mindset,
You got to win this game in order to take the
they're
division.
yeah, agree. Speaking of the next game, we'll go into Jacksonville Colts at Jags.
Ooh.
Definitely thought this game would go differently with Gardner Minshew, and that was just completely wrong. Gardner Minshew looked fucking awful
Yeah.
throughout the entirety of the game. He was, I remember like Devin Lloyd dropped an interception that was a terrible throw by Gardner Minshew.
You get these
Wide
games
open.
with Gardner. You get these
And,
games where
and
he's like
then
so high and then so
drops it,
low.
but he drops it. Devin Lloyd drops the ball, and you're like, oh, thank God the Colts are going to score a touchdown like on this drive. We're good. And then the very next throw, the next play, he throws the ball, another terrible in triple coverage interception, wasn't accurate, and just goes right to the safety. And it's just that guy had a terrible day. And I still like Gardner Minshew as a player, but that was just not how I expected that game to go. The Jaguars have a really good offense and a really good defense. Trevor Lawrence injury is kind of scary.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll see what happens with that. But that team looks like another one of those teams like that team's a playoff team.
100% a playoff team. I think they've reclaimed, being that favorite in the AFC South. Even though the Texans put another win together, we'll get to that later, but Jacksonville is rolling right now since their Texans loss.
And we'll see. I mean, Texans lose. They just beat Indianapolis. Tennessee loses. For all that hype of, oh, is Jacksonville gonna, not be
Slip
the
is
favorite in the
yeah, is it
AFC
going to slip
South?
away? Yeah.
Now that's far removed. But
It's kind of been like they've rose into the occasion, especially beating the Bills last week. You write them back into that slot being like, hey, this team's pretty legit.
yeah. Going in the next game, we have Panthers at Dolphins. Was kind of a funny, weird first little part of the game.
Yeah.
14-0, I had like, checked twice on the score after I
Yeah.
saw them score their second touchdown. And then I thought maybe it was going to be the Panthers,
First win of the year.
and then absolutely not. So,
Yeah. Bryce Young looked very good on those two drives to get the two touchdowns, but then rest of the day, yeeks. I think this was a game where like the Dolphins were like, yeah, we're down 14 points. Watch us put it into like kick it into gear, and then boom, touchdown, boom, touchdown, boom, touchdown, boom, touchdown.
yeah.
Tyreek Hill with his touchdown and then his celebration with a backflip. I didn't really think that video was that cool because you kind of couldn't see anything when he backflipped, but still a pretty cool celebration. Kind of like reminds me of the old Terrell Owens and Chad Ochocinco days when they came up with like the elaborate touchdown celebrations. Like, kind of reminded me of that. So hopefully, like, it inspires some other ones. The NFL is 100% going to find him for that.
Okay. Yeah. I think the Tyreek bullshit is kind of just, you hate to see all of just the NFL fines and all that crap. Just everyone wants to hate the NFL for it, but it's like, just put on some fucking socks. Am I the only guy?
Oh, just like, let it ride.
No, just wear some socks. Just put on. You talking about like Tyreek gets fined, so he gets. It's not just, but like mentioning NFL and fines with Tyreek. Put on some socks. Game over.
I don't
No,
understand. I don't understand the sock comment.
you talked about fines.
Yeah, is he getting fined for his socks?
If he doesn't wear socks, and he's
Oh,
getting fined over 15, or he got fined at $100,000 like
because he
last
didn't wear
week because he
socks?
didn't wear socks. Like he went like no
What?
show socks.
What?
Yes. So
I did not know that.
there's a ton of every time someone gets like somebody got a fine. What was it? George Kittle said fuck the Cowboys,
Yeah.
fuck Dallas,
Yeah,
and
that
he got a $12,000 fine or something under
yeah.
15 grand. And then everyone lost their mind because Tyreek Hill gets $100,000 for just not wearing socks.
Yeah.
And so people were like, how the fuck does the NFL, analyze their fines? But that's a whole nother topic.
I was saying that he'll probably get fined for the getting the cell phone from the guy and then doing the backflip thing.
I didn't see that.
It
So
was
that's
kind of it was cool like from an aerial perspective watching him do that, but there was you can find it on the internet of like the actual video of him doing the backflip and you kind of can't see anything. So the video is a little lame.
okay. Next one we have Vikings at Bears. This was like, I think the Bears would have came back and made that a football game
If Justin Fields wasn't hurt.
if yeah, like I think the Bears should have won that football game. And it's just like the Vikings, I think, they're not a bad team. I think the Bears had the momentum they needed
Mm-hmm.
going in, and both teams kind of just played tough, especially in the first half. Vikings pulled away definitely, but that was a hard fought NFC North battle for kind of who's going to stay relevant for one more week and who's not.
Yeah, you take away the Vikings defensive touchdown that they got by, strip sacking the backup quarterback Tyson Badgett.
Yeah.
You take away that, Bears win this game 13-12. Um, Kirk didn't really have a great game. I think Kirk looks pedestrian without Justin Jefferson. And Justin Jefferson is going to be out for a little while, going on the IR. So, I'd be a little fearful if I was a Vikings fan. I mean, I'm already fearful if I'm a Vikings fan with the way this season has started, but having your best player on the sideline and not playing in these games that are actually very important now with how you started the season. Now, like, I'd be nervous. Bears, that sucks that Justin Fields got hurt. And you have to play a guy that went to Shepherd University. I understand that he was really good at Shepherd University, but the NFL is not D3 football.
Yeah. So that was one that's just now Bears are probably going to get Marvin Harrison or Caleb Williams,
Caleb
but
Williams. So that on that point, Jim Harbaugh made a comment about his favorite quarterbacks in college football this year. A lot of people are connecting Jim Harbaugh to the Bears job, especially if Michigan, I know you hate Michigan, wins the national championship. Um, and he made a comment about how he loves Caleb Williams and um like loves his play style. Could we see a Jim Harbaugh coached Bears with Caleb Williams at quarterback and Marvin Harrison Jr. on the outside?
I wouldn't.
Questions if I'm a Bears fan.
That's a whole nother down
Yeah,
from
I know. Just like
first out.
imaginary things that we can concoct, but like if I'm a Bears fan and I'm hearing those rumors, I'm like lose every game. Lose fucking every game right now.
Yeah, I mean that's the
And then I would
case.
cheer super hard against the Panthers, which later down the season, I'm pretty sure they play each other
They do, yes. Because NFC South plays the NFC North.
this season. Yep.
Okay, and then we go next one. We have 49ers at Browns. This was this was a shocking one, and I had more faith than you did. Maybe
Oh
you're
yeah.
just being humble, but you got to like having not fucking DTR in the game. You get like PJ Walker is a lot more suitable as a quarterback.
Yeah, he's a actual game manager. He has NFL experience. Was an XFL star, and then came over to the NFL last couple of years. Has started before, knows what he's doing. Um, Hats off to PJ Walker and hats off to the Browns defense. They won us that game. I have a bunch of comments about this game. Can I just go off?
Yes.
Okay. One, what are the 49ers doing starting a brawl at the beginning of a game in their opponent's stadium? I understand that you are like the talk of the NFL, like you're the best team coming into this game, but I would not do that in an opponent's stadium. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, Trent Williams got in there and hushed everything up, and the Browns looked fearful." I was like, "Hang on one second. There are two guys on the Browns that I would love to see fight Trent Williams. One, Myles Garrett. Two, the Browns' new right tackle, DeJuan Jones. Two just Goliath giants, Trent Williams and DeJuan Jones." Uh, Anyways, let's get into the game. Game starts, whatever. It's a sloppy game, rainy game. I know people are going to talk about McCaffrey going out, Samuel going down as well. But the Browns defense stood on their heads. They really contained Brock Purdy, put a lot of pressure on him, and forced him to make mistakes. He threw an interception. He almost fumbled. And then like their kicker misses two kicks, but so be it. That happens. It's hard to kick in Cleveland. I've seen it for years. We've only had one very reliable kicker, and he retired like 10 years ago, Phil Dawson. We've gone through a kicker like every year since then. The one thing that I need to mention about Kevin Stefanski, because I said it on our last podcast that I don't really trust him. So you're going the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan has the ball with like 3 minutes or something left. He throws it 3 straight times, and each time he threw it or called the throwing play, Brock Purdy threw an incompletion. So no time like comes off the clock for the Browns to get the ball back when they're down 16-17.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are questioning Kyle Shanahan for that, but if you watch the game, the Browns were stuffing the run. They were selling out to stop McCaffrey or whoever was in the backfield. Throwing on those downs makes sense because I like McCaffrey's not in the game, so you don't think that his backup Mason is going to be able to bust a 3, 4, 5 yard carry. I understand why he threw it on those downs. Brock Purdy wasn't having a great game either, but you got to pick your poison. They punt the ball to the Browns. Browns march down the field. They have a Huge run from Jerome Ford. I think it was 22 yards to get, into the red zone. They run the ball on first down, get a couple yards. Run the ball on second down, get a couple yards. Third down. Kevin Stefanski calls a play action rollout to PJ Walker. Well, with PJ Walker, and he nearly throws an interception. There's about a minute 15 left on the clock, I believe. The reason why I hate that play call, and I question Kevin Stefanski sometimes, is because in that scenario, you have made the 49ers burn 2 timeouts. So they still have their third. If you run the ball, you automatically make them burn their last timeout. Meaning when you kick the field goal, they're not going to have any. And it's going to be more rushed. It's going to put more pressure on them. Having a timeout in your pocket is nice. PJ Walker nearly throws an interception. I understand that from the perspective of the 49ers are expecting a run, so doing a play action pass is is kind of trying to catch them off guard. I would prefer that play call if it was Deshaun Watson in the game, not PJ Walker. Because PJ Walker, even though, yes, I just said that he is he can game manage a game, but he tried to force a ball that he had no business throwing, and he was late on it. And also, I think if Deshaun Watson's in that game, he has the game IQ of being like, all right, there's nothing here. Let me run it myself and just keep the clock running. So I understand the play call. I question it because you have a third string quarterback in the game. If Deshaun Watson's in the game, I understand it a little bit more. Overall, Browns win. I'm ecstatic. I'm back on cloud 9. I'm like Myles Garrett. I'm like Dalvin Tomlinson. I'm like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Holy fuck, dude balled out. Grant Delpit balled out. Greg Newsome, Denzel Ward, Martin Emerson gets his first career interception. My boys, Browns defense is legit. Here's a stat for you, Cole. Browns defense, first 5 games of the season, have only let up 1,002 yards.
Three teams.
That's our first time in 50 years a team in the NFL has only let up 1,000 yards in the first 5 games.
And the third time in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
Which is even more impressive considering the day and age we are with offenses in football. Mm-hmm. So you look at that and you're like, wow. So I'm rooting for the Browns big. Obviously, I know you're a fan, but it's just one of those things where they were never thought of as people knew they had a talented roster, but no one ever thought of them as a team that really had a chance at anything but maybe a 7th or a 6th seed, I think that's the ceiling of what everyone thought the Browns could would be an early exit in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that they're, a favorite to go to the AFC Championship by any means, but you've got to consider them to be a team that I think it would be fun to watch. Give the Browns a healthy offense and give them a couple weeks to get themselves going. Browns and Dolphins would be a great matchup. I don't know if they play this season, but watching the Dolphins offense versus that Browns defense would just be something that would be kind of a cat and mouse game. But
yeah, it'd be interesting.
Anyways,
I have a few more comments. Amari Cooper is the fucking truth. He made some amazing plays in this game. One where he high pointed a ball over 2 defenders. Holy shit, Amari Cooper is the truth. What else? I had something else. Oh, Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's back. He looks pretty good running the ball. I guess having that bye week, they kind of got him more acclimated to the offense because they have called some different plays. The touchdown that he had, I love that play call by Kevin Stefanski. I don't know if you saw it.
The which one? The one to
the Kareem Hunt play.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I thought it looked discombobulated. I felt like there was so much congestion in the backfield, and it didn't look blocked up well.
It looked amazing. They motioned the tight end. They don't even have PJ Walker on the field, first off. They don't even have a quarterback on the field. They motioned the tight end into the quarterback's under center, and Kareem Hunt is like kind of split backfield off to the left, and the Browns are, I don't know if it was 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1, but it was a 1 yard. And everybody thought like the entire San Francisco 49ers defense was committing to stopping that sneak. And instead of sneaking, the tight end pitched it to Kareem Hunt to the outside and boom, daylight, touchdown. I liked that play call. Like those are the moments where I'm like, Kevin Stefanski, yes, this is what I want to see. But then he does something like what he does later. And I understand like where his thought process is, but I've already explained that. And I'm ecstatic as a Browns fan. We play the Colts this week. Hopefully Deshaun Watson comes back and we can kind of put all the pieces together. That's really what I'm waiting for, is putting the pieces together.
Yeah.
And 49ers fans, your team's going to be fine. Your team is going to be just fine. Brock Purdy had a down game. That's a really good defense he just played. Don't expect this to be every week, and you're going to be fucking fine. You're probably going to win the NFC West and be in the NFC Championship game. I wouldn't worry if I'm a 49ers fan. This is a game that would humble you.
I don't think they're worried.
Yeah.
Next one we got Saints and Texans at Houston. Texans come out with the wins, kind of squeak one out. Good play by CJ Stroud. Derek Carr and that offense made some plays. Olave is the beast. I think that both defenses kind of showed out and played well.
Yeah, I mean,
different parts of the game.
20-13, close game. I saw a Rashid Shaheed catch that was out of this world. Derek Carr had 357 yards passing, but no touchdowns, which is weird to me because, you have Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara out of the backfield. Like, those are just weird things to me to see that he has so many yards passing and no touchdowns. CJ Stroud had another good day, finally throws his first interception of his career, which is shocking. Through 6 games, has only thrown 1. I think the Texans, you're riding on cloud 9. You've won what, 3-4 games now? I want to check, make sure I'm right.
3.
And that 3, so they're 3-3.
They should be 3-3.
And now they're heading into a bye week, week 7. Kind of can put some more pieces together, more things together, and I would expect them to not let off the gas and try to make a run for a wild card. Like the AFC, like, you have a couple teams that like are looking like the Browns, Steelers, Bengals. Like, our entire division is hard. Jesus Christ, just put that in my head. But then you have the West with Chiefs already are out front. It's probably going to be the Chargers, Broncos, Raiders, not great. You look at the
Raiders.
We'll get into that. And then the East, you have Bills, Dolphins, Jets. Are the Jets good? But another thing we'll talk about. Texans could squeak in there is all I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. So speaking of the Raiders, Patriots at Raiders. Raiders are 3-3. Patriots are now 1-5.
Oof.
And all I'm saying is I like the way the Raiders play football. And I'll say this because I watched the full game, and Jimmy Garoppolo's hurt again. Jimmy Garoppolo's nothing to be like, oh, we have Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, but Aiden O'Connell's not bad.
Okay, yeah. And the thing is, they're still struggling running the football with Josh Jacobs.
Mm-hmm.
But Josh Jacobs is Josh Jacobs. And once they get it going, like they will. Like they started to get it going against the Packers, which have a perennially awful rush defense. But I like the way they can take over a football game on defense. And I've seen it. And they have players across the field that I'm confident in the way they could, beat a team that's maybe perceived to be much better than them. I would like the Raiders in a football game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Aiden O'Connell didn't play. It was Brian Hoyer that came in.
Yeah, and he played well.
Yeah, he played pretty well.
He threw some rockets to fucking Devontae and
Jacoby Myers had a nice revenge game of 5 receptions, 61 yards, and touchdown. Kind of shoved it in Bill Belichick's face for signing Juju Smith-Schuster to the same exact contract that he got signed to.
Michael Mayer.
Yeah.
Played really well. Like they look like they have options.
Awesome. Patriots look bad and get.
I thought they had one of their best looking games they've had.
Yeah, it was better. You kind of want to stab Devontae Parker for dropping that really nice pass Mac Jones had down the sideline. That probably would result in like either a 40 to 50-yard game or a touchdown because he burnt the two defenders and he just completely dropped it.
Zeke Elliott looked really good in this football game.
And he scored his first touchdown on a Patriot.
Even the called back, he had like a really nice play that was called back. He just all around looked like I saw like 4 highlight plays and he just looked like he had more juice than we all gave him credit for.
But. Yeah, and Ramondre Stevenson looked really good too. Like they're kind of coming into their own in the backfield there. I guess that's your positive takeaway as a Patriots fan. I still don't trust Mac Jones. But yeah, Raiders look better than expected. I just don't think that the Raiders would get into the playoffs.
Going into Lions at Buccaneers, I think one of the more anticipated games of the week. I didn't watch much of this, but from what I saw, it was 3-3 in the first half.
Yeah.
And then Lions really just kind of took it. There was just Jared Goff seems to just be one of the better quarterbacks, especially in the NFC this season.
Yeah, and he kind of took over this game, like David Montgomery going out and then Jahmyr Gibbs being banged up. He kind of took over this game. Touchdown to Jameson Williams. That was the big thing. A long pass down the right side.
Time of possession. They won time of possession by 13 minutes.
Yeah, they crushed him in time.
And they only ran the ball a third of their plays, which is kind of impressive that they pass the ball and dink and dunk it and keep possession on the clock.
Yeah, the Lions look like a legit threat in the NFC. They're a good team, and that's a good defense they went against. So 20 points, that's pretty good. And then you held the Bucs to 6. Your defense is starting to come together. What's your opinion on the creamsicle jerseys?
I love them.
I thought they looked nice too.
I like them. I think they're like fun.
Yeah. And if I'm a Bucs fan, I honestly. I wouldn't be too upset. Like you played a better team, you were in the game. Like a couple things go your way, maybe you win this one. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin look like themselves, and Baker Mayfield's getting them the ball. Baker Mayfield doesn't look bad, and like he's managing the game well for them. He's keeping them in games. Like I said, a couple things go their way, and maybe they pull out a win here. But going down, they already had their bye week, so going down the stretch, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Going into LA, the Cardinals at Rams. This just didn't appear to be a game. It seemed like the Rams, Puka Nacua wasn't the answer this time, but Kyren Williams, Cooper Kupp.
Yep. Heavy dose of those two.
These guys make plays, and Kyren Williams is kind of came out of nowhere. He's making a name for himself.
Well, he's probably
like a top 5 running back right now in fantasy.
He was pretty good at Notre Dame. I'll give him that. I remember watching him at Notre Dame. He was pretty solid. This game was 6-9 at one point, and then the Rams just ran away with it. Literally, Kyren Williams running away with it, and then Cooper Kupp just doing Cooper Kupp things. The Rams defense put a lot of pressure on Josh Dobbs. He was evading pressure constantly. I would say that's a good game for the Rams defense in that perspective. Kind of putting both sides of the ball together, like putting up good points on the board and holding your opponent to only 9. I still am wondering when we will see Kyler Murray.
You think that he's going to come back this season?
I mean, there's been like things swirling that like he might be ready to go. I don't know. I just wonder if like, are they going to play him? Are they not? Because they've won a game, and it seems like the Panthers might have the worst record wrapped up in their hands because they don't look good. And the
I'd be
Bears own their
curious if
pick.
I'd be curious if Kyler Murray wants to play, but that's different. That's a
Mm,
different. Um, Next game, Eagles at Jets.
yeah.
This was a like Eagles fans are furious. They're like hitting themselves because here's the thing: the Niners. I would say the Niners and Eagles both feel they should have won that football game, and
Yeah.
obviously for both occasions, like the Moody, a 41-yard field goal is nothing, and in this day and
On
age,
the
it's really.
shores of Lake
I
Erie.
know it's like you're saying, like, but a 41 yarder, like there's a 82% chance you make that
It
kick.
was raining.
And that was just like a crushing loss. And then you look at like Jalen Hurts that throw. Like when you just can't, that's the one thing you can't do in that situation.
What did he turn the ball over 4 times, 3 interceptions and a fumble?
I didn't get to watch all the game, but I saw that part. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he threw 3 interceptions and had a fumble. But credit the Jets defense. Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed out this game, and they had to pull practice squad guys up in order to man their secondary, and then they held Jalen Hurts in check. And hats off to the Jets front seven because they were making Jalen Hurts run all over the place. I don't know if that's a credit to I would say it's more so credit to the Jets front seven, but Lane Johnson did go down in this game, and that's a big injury for the Eagles.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not long term.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
Giants have the
Eagles fans, you're going to be fine. Jets fans should be more excited, though. Their defense looked really legit against a good offense. And Zach Wilson didn't play bad.
yeah. Brees Hall, give him the football.
Yeah, give Brees
See it
all
no
the.
more.
Somebody came up with the nickname Brees Lightning, and I was like, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. The Giants at Bills. Giants should have that. Did you see the halftime
The play
sequence?
before half,
14 seconds left, and
and they
you
run the
run the
ball.
ball. I
So
was I was so mad at that. I remember that was like right before I was going to bed. That was literally my last play. I was like before I put my glasses off, where I can't see the TV anymore, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch this play,
the
and I'm like,
the worst part of that is that Tyrod Taylor checked to the run.
yeah,
It
and
was
I
not a
know
called.
Dayball was furious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, and like that's stupid of Tyrod Taylor too, because he's a mobile quarterback. Even if you have a pass play and you don't think it's good against the defense you're facing, being a mobile quarterback and having the speed and like the ability to just like use your own feet, like you have to put that into consideration when you're on the 1 yard line with probably 2 opportunities. If you throw an incompletion, if you throw an incompletion there, you definitely have another shot or can kick a field goal.
yeah. But so here's the thing: they get points on that drive.
Yeah, the last drive
Different
of the
game.
game, they don't have to go for a touchdown. They can kick a field goal and win the
Yeah,
game.
different. So it would be a different game. And then the last drive, even if they should have got it like that, that was PI.
This is the last play.
That last play.
Yeah, he was draped
I'm
all
sorry.
over him.
I'm like mad that the Giants didn't win that football game a little
Yeah,
bit.
I want it. So like this is our final game of like the entire NFL slate for this week 6. What I wanted to say to you is like I watched a bunch of these games this week. Holy fuck, is the officiating bad in the NFL right now? Like I'll even say in the 49ers Browns game, there was a lot of flags that I was like, really? And then it went the Browns' way for once, where PJ Walker is like getting tackled and he like tries to throw it, but the ball kind of like comes out of his hand. They called it intentional grounding, and then reviewed it, and they were like, "Yep, intentional grounding." I would say it was a fumble, but they gave one to Brock Purdy later, so whatever. But there were 2 defensive holding plays in the Browns 49ers game that I was like, that doesn't look right. And yeah, and then I watched this game. The PI at the end, that sucked. There was just some other calls around the NFL. that I was like, dude, NFL has a big officiating problem. And
Yeah.
the gambling world is kind of growing. Well, not kind of, is growing. And it's becoming more of a normal thing. Dude, people are going to get pissed when they start fucking losing money to some stupid officiating call that
Yeah.
everyone knows was should go the other way.
Yeah. But humans are imperfect, so you just gotta live with it. We all know that.
If you're a Bills fan, what's your takeaway in this game?
Your team is not your shit don't, you know, your shit don't stink, but it does.
Yeah,
So
I don't think they're clicking. And you
they
kind of saw it last year. They were not clicking on both sides of the ball either.
well, they have a lot of injuries on defense.
They had it last year too. They should have plugged
Yeah.
some holes.
Well, so here's what I'll say is who else are you taking in the AFC right now to win it all?
The Chiefs.
I'm taking the Bills over the Chiefs right now.
Really? Oh well, yeah. I mean, the Chiefs are kind of like looking a little.
Who do you trust besides Travis Kelce on that offense?
It's true. And who do you trust on the Bills offense besides Stephon Diggs? Because this was the
Gabe
Stephon Diggs,
Davis,
Josh.
Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox,
Yeah,
and Kincaid has shown promise, but like I'm not going to say he's a star.
yeah.
But like,
I really like James Cook too.
yeah, I don't know. I just
Um,
Josh Allen and Mahomes. I kind
that's
of
why as a Browns fan this year, I'm so mad that like Nick Chubb is hurt and like we don't like Watson's out is because like the two powerhouses of the AFC, the Bills and Chiefs, look vulnerable.
yeah, they look mortal.
Yeah,
For
and
sure.
it's the same thing with the Ravens. The Ravens look mortal. The would you power rank the Jaguars above the Chiefs and Bills right now because of how they've performed the last 2 weeks? Because they have looked probably like the best team in the AFC.
I wouldn't pick them to win, no,
Yeah,
but
that makes
that's
sense.
okay. Next game we had it's about to be played. Cowboys or Chargers. I got the Cowboys in this. This was
Yes,
my final game, pick six. Quickly to go over pick six. You are,
I went 5-1 on the
yeah.
week.
So you are right now. I've done this already. You are 22-14. So great improvement from 17-13.
Yep.
I am 22-13. So I
Oh my
went.
God,
I'm 3-2.
I caught up to you.
So if I lose, I'm tied with you. So
Mm-hmm.
if the Chargers win this game, um, or
Or the
they lose by
Cowboys don't
less than
cover.
one,
Yep.
yeah. Now if the Cowboys go -2
Yep.
or -2.5, I should say, then yes. So if the Cowboys win by 3 points or more,
Yep.
I will be 23-13. But regardless, I think it's probably one of the better matchups this week. So I'm excited to watch this one.
I am
Uh,
too. I am too.
I,
Very excited to see Justin Herbert go against the Dallas Cowboys defense.
yeah, and it's a get back on track game for Dallas. But going into second down, my most favorite down. Let's start with Jags at Saints. Saints 3-point favorites in New Orleans. I just have a feeling the Saints win this football game. I don't know. I think the Jags, I don't know what's going on with Trevor Lawrence's knee. You hope that it's not like serious. Is it going to be something where he's missing football games?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I haven't seen an update on that yet.
Yeah.
I
Even if he does play,
He's not going to
New
be able to
Orleans,
mobile like he is.
Jags fans don't travel. New Orleans is a hostile environment to play football, and they have weapons on offense, and they have a pretty good defense. So
I've liked what I've seen out of the Jaguars defense the last 2 weeks to not go against them if Trevor Lawrence is banged up and playing. But if Trevor Lawrence does not play, Saints.
so I think we're okay. Yeah, I don't know. I like the Saints regardless. But next game we have Browns at Colts. Browns are 2-point favorites on the road in Indy. What do
I
you
don't
think?
know. I don't know if Deshaun Watson will play. I'll start with that. I I heard a rumor.
I don't think it matters.
I heard a rumor that he might come back this week, and I think this would be the game for him to come back. The Colts defense, not, you know, a world beater. Um, he probably, like, our offensive line is kind of starting to put things together, better communication, kind of shut down the 49ers front seven from sacking PJ Walker. So hopefully that's like a thing that we can like put our hat on. Um, yeah, I know that you say it doesn't matter. Browns fan here. Browns fan.
I'll take PJ Walker and the Browns defense against the Colts with Gardner Minshew.
This is the Browns' life, though. You have a huge victory against the 49ers, arguably the best team in the NFL. Now you're playing what should be an inferior opponent as the Colts. It would not surprise me if the Browns throw up a dud. But what's riding on our side, though? What is riding on our side? This will be the first time that Cole Mueller and myself will most likely be at PS Tavern watching NFL Sunday together.
That's wait, hold on. And this is perfect because it's a 1 and a 4.
1 and a 4.
That works out, doesn't it?
Yeah. Shout out PS Tavern. Shout out Scott.
That's good. That makes me happy because I'm undefeated.
We are both undefeated when we are together at PS Tavern.
Yeah. And you know what's cool is the Packers play the Browns on Christmas Eve. And like obviously we won't be at PS Tavern that week.
Yeah.
And so that's like someone's gotta
win, someone's gotta lose there.
Yeah, I'll like doom myself when I'll like superstition myself to the point where like I know my team's gonna lose just because I have this negative self-talk. And so I'll like compile all the reasons why we're gonna lose before we even play a snap in the football game.
So last week when I was in the field like all week long and it started getting close to Sunday and I'm seeing like all the like news come up that Deshaun Watson's not playing, it's going to be PJ Walker. I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, you know, Browns might win this game. Like no one thinks they'll win. So maybe that's why they'll win. And those are the thoughts that I'll have in my head during the week. Then I'm like, nope, we're the Browns. We're the fucking Browns.
Yeah.
Just keep those out.
It is good when you play those games when you know no one wants you, you have no business winning that football game. It's good to play those games in the NFL
because it stems from like the life of me as a Browns fan. It's the Rob Chudzinski, the Mike Pettin, the Pat Shermer days of them as head coaches, and I had to sit there and literally convince myself every week, hey, we might win this game. We might win this game. So now I'm here with Kevin Stefanski, rolled through the Baker days, and I'm like, no, I'm not convincing myself. I'm not convincing myself shit.
Well, rolling into the next game on the 1 p.m. slate, Bills at Patriots. Patriots at home, 8.5-point dogs. Bills look like a team that are primed to have a corrective action game where they just get back on track. Even though they won, but they didn't like the way they played, I'm sure.
Yeah, they didn't look good.
Patriots looked the best I think they've looked all season though last week. So if we're going to that 8.5-point line is steep, so I'm staying away from it.
Yeah.
If that thing gets down to like 6, I'd say like 6 points, I could feel it out. I could do that, but 8.5 seems steep for me.
Yeah, 8.5 is a lot of points. And I think Bill Belichick will actually look at a spread for once in his life and be like, there ain't no fucking way I'm an 8.5-point dog at home.
That's definitely how he talks too. What do we got? Next game, Commanders at Giants in New York.
Commanders favorites?
2-point favorites. Yep. I like that. I think that's very fair.
2-point favorites. Question for you. Tyrod Taylor. Keep playing Tyrod Taylor if you're the Giants?
Absolutely not, because you paid Daniel Jones, what, $40 million a year?
Yeah.
So he's making – I thought about that too. I'm like, oh, Caleb Williams, if the Giants did tank.
Just tank.
Ca-
Yeah.
Caleb Williams has said one of the 5 teams you go to is the Giants.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with that. Giants have Daniel Jones they got to get rid of. You know what I mean? They got to find somewhere for him to go.
Yeah. They need to
Now,
find a suitor.
what do you do with Daniel Jones?
I think you got to
Does
eat that
he
money.
does he go to the Titans? Do you trade him to the Titans? Do you trade him to
I don't think the tight.
the
No one.
Vikings
I don't think.
after
I don't think a
Cousins?
trade is possible with the contract he's going to carry.
Yeah, but I think if he plays a middling style of football where he's good enough to be a starter and then have some flashy games and flashy plays, like I like Daniel Jones' skill set. I just don't think he has that gamer in him that you typically want in a player that's gonna just take over a football game.
If I don't think if like Brian Dable is a very well respected coach around the league. I don't think if he can't get Daniel Jones to perform at a high level, I don't think a lot of coaches around the NFL are going to, you know, take on the risk of bringing him in. I could see people asking like bringing him in as a backup,
But not for 40 million.
but not for $40 million.
Yeah. So I mean that's gonna be a good game. I think that's one of the better matchups just because the Giants could play, that
They could show like their defense showed up against the Bills. Can their defense play another good game against the Commanders here and put Sam Howell in some situations that he makes a bad throw, like we saw in the Bears game? Like he's still a young quarterback. He'll make mistakes. It's good
and
for the Giants to have Saquon Barkley back too, by the way.
yeah, I think the Giants can make this game very interesting. Commanders have a really good roster. I think the Giants shown that their defensive line and their defensive front seven is very good.
Hmm.
And they're sometimes flashy. They're not always the most consistent, but the talent wise, they're there. And if the Giants can just convert on third down and keep that offense on the field, that makes them very like we gotta stop like they won 10 plus games last year.
Yeah, I mean, and they won a playoff game.
Yeah. So that's same roster,
Yep.
but you like their offense better on paper. But regardless, um Lions at Ravens next game. This is like I don't want to. That's probably like the top 3 matchup of the week. I think, and
What
this
do
is
you?
so. Last week, I think there was really there were bad matchups in my opinion. I
Yeah.
thought matchups across the board, and they turned out to be good games. Obviously, that
Mhm.
always happens. But I remember talking last week, and I'm like, week 6 does not have a ton of like good matchups. Week 7, I think opposite. I like a lot of the matchups that are on the slate.
I have a lot
Um,
of there's a lot more interesting matchups. Like we'll get into one that I'm kind of got my eye on, but Lions, what's the line here?
Lions 3-point underdogs
So
in
the
Baltimore.
Ravens
Ravens,
are
Ravens
3-point
3-point favorites.
favorites.
Yep. So that's another one where it's like the Ravens have not played as well as their talent on their offense and like has alluded to how good they should be. And so the Ravens are kind of like underperforming, but they're winning football games.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, the Lions look like a team that just has
They're clicking.
yeah, there's no slowing them down. But that's always the NFL is every team when they get high, and especially the Lions. You never know how the Lions are going to handle success. I think the Lions are going to do very well.
Yeah, I believe
Um,
so too. It's can the Lions establish the run because they have been very good at running the ball this year with David Montgomery and potentially Jameer Gibbs out. I like the game will lean more on Jared Goff. I mean, we've seen him kind of crumble in some moments. I don't think we'll see that Jared Goff anymore. I think he's figured out the NFL. I think he's now a very seasoned veteran. I'm surprised to see it at 3. I would say more so I would understand it more like 2.5.
yeah, I mean, it's going to be I think it's going to be a close game no matter what.
I understand why
I
the
think
Ravens are favored being home.
I don't. I think the Lions are going to have one of their. But we can't not acknowledge that the Lions crowd has followed them on road games
Yeah,
everywhere they.
they're like deeming themselves America's team now.
Yeah, so I kind of hate that, but I won't.
Like
Yeah,
these, it's hard to root against like these teams that have been bad for so long. Lions, Jets, Jaguars, Browns, because they've been down for so long. Like
I still, as a Packer fan, I can't root for the Lions, but there's a little bit that's like, oh, it's
I see
nice.
a smile on your face when you talk about them sometimes.
Yeah, more than like the Vikings for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
The next one we got Raiders at Bears. Bears 3-point underdogs at home in Chicago. Raiders trying to keep a win streak going, get to 3 straight wins,
This could be a
and
gross quarterback matchup.
it could. I
Tyson Badgett against Brian Hoyer.
I've never seen a quarterback more unaware of a pass rush in my life than Badgett fucking against Minnesota. That was terrible. And it was just frustrating because I wanted the Bears to win that
To
football game
win.
because
Yeah.
I had money on them on money line. That was one of my I couldn't do I didn't get my bets in time for the Ravens and Titans game, which I would have won money on. So
Yeah.
I wanted to pick another matchup to put money on. So I was like, I think the Bears will win that game, and I'll put money line to get more money. And as soon as I saw Justin Fields out, I was like, fuck me. But
Mm.
Badgett had so many opportunities, and every time he just fucking fumbled the ball away like Bryce Young.
Ugh.
But yeah, so I think the Raiders just great pass rush. Their defense I like more than the Bears defense, and that's why I trust them more so than I trust the Bears.
Seasoned veteran backup quarterback Brian Hoyer. Rookie D3 quarterback, backup quarterback in Tyson Badgett. Like, and better defense, Raiders. I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a 14-point fucking game.
Yeah, I mean maybe. Uh Falcons at Buccaneers. Buccaneers 2.5 point favorites at
Yeah.
home.
I understand that one. Two teams that are very familiar with each other being in the same division. Buccaneers, I would say, are if well, they already beat the Saints. So the Buccaneers are probably the favorite to win the NFC South right now. But Falcons have shown promise and had moments and beaten some teams that they shouldn't. Like a lot of people probably wouldn't have picked them to win those games. Uh, I really like the Bucks though. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a game where I just think I could see Baker Mayfield making a few mistakes against that talented secondary in Atlanta. So that's where I was picking at that line of the Buccaneers, and then I think Atlanta could defensively keep themselves very much so in the game, get
The
good field
road game
position.
though for Desmond Ritter. It's a road game.
Hey, I mean, Desmond Ritter is not going to be the reason the Falcons win football games.
A
That's
blind
not going
squirrel gets a nut every now and then.
to. Okay, I've never heard that one, but I like it.
Uh,
I'm gonna call Desmond Squirrel the blind or Desmond. Did
he
I call him
kind of looks like a squirrel, if we're being
Desmond?
honest.
I'm gonna call Desmond Ritter a blind squirrel for the rest of this fucking season. And if they go to the playoffs with the blind squirrel, then fuck me.
Oh
I'll root
my
for.
god,
No,
I'll look
I
like
honestly
such an
hate the
idiot.
Falcons. I hate the Falcons. I was in an Uber with on the way to PS Tavern this Sunday. A diehard Cowboys fan, but he was like you. He's a very first one I've ever met that's a pessimistic, humble Cowboys fan that was just complaining about all of their problems and was never he was just like, we don't have dogs. We're not like these teams. And he was like, we need to be more like the Niners. And he said the one fan base he fucking can't stand is the Falcons. And he fucking hates them. And I'm like, I agree. I also hate the Falcons fan base. But besides that, that's going to be a good matchup as well. Steelers at Rams, another good matchup in LA. Rams are 3-point favorites. Part of me, I've actually gone back and forth on this one. I had one team and then I switched because I just get in this like tunnel where I think of how a game's gonna go. And then I'm like, wait, let's get out of that tunnel. Let's be real. This is what's gonna happen. But Steelers fans travel. The terrible towel will be in LA, one of the stadiums that never has fucking home fans. So it's a vacation destination for the Steelers. There's going to be fucking tons of them. That defense of the Steelers is no joke. That offense of the Rams is no joke. Sean McVay versus that defense, it's going to be a good game.
This was the matchup I was hinting at earlier that I'm very interested in seeing how this goes down. Because the Browns do play the Rams later in the season, but Steelers just had a bye. Should they have tweaked anything in their offense? Maybe we'll see some new stuff. Maybe Jalen Warren gets more carries than Najee Harris type deal, more targets to George Pickens. Deontay Johnson still on the IR. Like, is he ever going to come back? Because I think that Kenny Pickett would benefit from having, Deontay Johnson's. I don't know about his playmaking ability, but his reliability of just catching the football. Rams, I think, have ramped it up the last couple of weeks and have looked. I know they lost against the Eagles, but they did look pretty good in that game. And then this past week playing the Cardinals, they looked very good. Yeah, I'm interested to see how this game shakes out.
And then we got Cardinals at Seahawks. Seahawks 8-point favorites at home. Probably the worst matchup if I'm looking at just like on paper of the day. I just think this game is kind of Seahawks. I'm fond of the Seahawks as far as how good they are. I think the Cardinals are they're flat. They've kind of ran out of that fighting mojo.
Yeah.
Maybe they haven't, but from the last couple of weeks, that Cinderella of them playing really close games. Seahawks at home, just a different style of football. Kenneth Walker looks really good. They have DK. They have Tyler Lockett. Jackson Smith.
Don't know if they'll have DK. DK got hurt in that Bengals game and is questionable for this game.
They don't even need him. They don't even need him.
I mean, I would say simplify the play calling for Geno Smith and make it easier on him and have the defense make some plays. I think this might be the turning point for the Cardinals season. This blowout win they had, this blowout loss they just had to the Cowboys. Not the Cowboys, the fucking Rams. I think this might be the wheels might start coming off, which will suck for the Arizona Cardinals fans. But if you're an Arizona Cardinal fan, you got to start rooting against the Houston Texans because you own their first overall pick this next year.
They own
the Texans pick.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
For the Will Anderson trade.
Yeah. That sucks for them.
Yeah.
But anyways, Packers at Broncos, another 4 p.m. game. Broncos are 1-point underdogs at home. Was 1.5 earlier today. So now it's only a 1-point favorite for the Packers. Packers are coming off the bye. Broncos are coming off a Thursday night football, a mini bye. So both teams well rested. I don't know. Like, I stay away from this game because Packers are going to play every team close. In my mind, we are never going to have another game like the Bears where we just win by 21 points. It's going to be victories are going to be by skin of our teeth, kind of like the Saints game. And then we're going to have losses that are just gut-wrenching and ruin my day, ruin my week. That was miserable for 4 days after that game against Oakland, or fuck me, against
Raiders, Vegas, yeah. I mean, you had your bye week. You should be healthy, right?
We're not great after bye weeks with Matt LaFleur, though. That was a McCarthy thing where we were good after bye weeks. We have been the last 2 years, not good after the bye. So
yeah, but you went into the bye with a lot of injuries. Aaron Jones, Christian Watson still hemmed up with a hamstring. I mean, you're not getting Bakhtiari back, but even like your defense was a little banged up. Like, those guys returning?
our fucking guys, if they get a mosquito bite, they're going to be questionable for the weekly practice report. If they get 2 mosquito bites, they're out for the fucking 2
Doubtful.
weeks. Doubtful, and then out, and then they're going to be questionable and probable, and then right before kickoff, game time, and then ruled out. I don't know what the fuck. I've already fucked up my fantasy lineup twice with Aaron Jones
Oh
being
God.
being out, and I thought he was playing, and like dumb. That was stupid of me. But regardless, if we don't get the juice going this week, it's over. Like our
Yeah.
season is going to be and I don't mean to be like I'm still going to enjoy competitive football. The Packers are going to play good football games, but our playoff contention is over if we don't win this football game.
Yeah, I can see that. And then rumors swirling around the NFL that Sean Payton wants to do a fire sale of the Broncos good players, and then Rex Ryan is rumored to be taking over the defensive coordinator job of the Broncos, which is so weird to me. Rex Ryan, who's been out of the game for a while, and has a foot fetish.
Actually going to be, is that like official or
Yeah,
no?
I've seen rumors on the internet about him having interest there, and then them reaching out to him, seeing if he would like to take the defensive coordinator job over, and the Broncos defense, who has been very bad this season, could probably use a shakeup. I guess if you're a Broncos fan, I think you want a fire sale right now. You want to sell off, your good pieces, your Garrett Bowles, your Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Justin Simmons, those type players. I've heard that the only guy that's untouchable is Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, I would hope he's on the team's untouchable list for them, but that helps the Packers' chances that there's turmoil going on, but that's also what brings the team together too. Is just
I don't
when
know,
everything.
man. There's the turmoil is started. Sean Payton clearly does not like Russell Wilson.
Well, we'll see. It's going to be. I'll tell you right now, the Packers Broncos game will be close, just like Vegas says.
Okay.
1 point game. I think this game is going to be very close.
The point total is
Packers
45. What would you
at
if I know you hate betting on the Packers, but the point total 45
under,
over under.
under, under
Under?
for
Mm,
sure, for
mm,
sure,
mm.
for sure. Under that Broncos defense, Jordan Love's going to throw 2 interceptions, unfortunately, but
See, you're
regardless.
turning into me. You're now a pessimistic Packers fan.
No, I'm a cautious Packer fan. I love Jordan Love. And I really do. I'm not just convinced. Everyone thinks like I'm convincing myself to love Jordan Love. I actually really am a fan of him. But we'll get in the next game. Chargers at Chiefs. Chiefs 5.5 point favorites at home against Justin Herbert. Chargers Chiefs always play good close games. Kind of an interesting 5.5 point spread. You'd think the Chargers would, maybe 4, 3.5.
Yeah, and
But
the Chiefs offense hasn't looked great, and Chargers defense maybe is coming around. They just I think they just had a bye too. Week 5. Yeah, I don't remember them playing anybody. Yeah, no, interesting 5.5 points because, like you said, they do always play each other tough. It's usually always just a one-score game, so I guess they're just banking on it being more than a field goal. Um, yeah,
another good 4 game slate.
yeah, and we have a lot of divisional matchups this week. We've got obviously what we're talking about: Chargers, Chiefs, Cardinals, Seahawks is a divisional matchup. Bills, Patriots is a divisional matchup. Falcons, Bucks, Commanders, Giants. Like that's a lot. That's a lot.
And then, yeah, so that's going to be a shootout, in my opinion. I think that
Yeah,
game's going to be, but going in
the
after that,
Sunday night.
Sunday Night Football, this is my game of the week. I can't wait for this one. The Dolphins at Philadelphia. Eagles are 1.5 point favorites. And this is just one of those heat check games for the Dolphins again. They're just like the Bills game. They're going in flaming, like what's going to happen. Eagles they're not, you know what I mean? It's like they're superhero that doesn't have their powers all the way back. They're still trying to get to full strength. And part of me just thinks the Philly grit is going to take over this game against the Dolphins. And who do I trust, Jalen Hurts or Tua? And the tush push and all these, I just think the Eagles are going to come in with a great game plan to get 40 minutes on time of possession. and keep that offense off the field. And that's my tunnel vision that I go through where I think about how the game's going to go. And that's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, Eagles front seven is a little banged up. Jalen Carter didn't play last week against the Jets. And then Lane Johnson, as I mentioned earlier, went down in that game. I think that in my mind, I'm just like Eagles are like really good, and the Dolphins, like I still have questions against when they go against really good opponents. Especially them traveling to Philly. Everybody knows the link is gonna get up, and it's Sunday Night Football. Um, dude, I really like the Eagles in this game for some reason.
Yeah. Those are one of my picks. I already had my picks before the episode started.
Yeah, I've been doing it as we go.
The final game, 49ers at Vikings. Another game. Vikings are at home, 7-point underdogs. I haven't picked them this game, but I think the Vikings can kind of, they're a sneaky good team. They are.
Yeah, I
I'm not
just
picking
don't.
them because I think the Niners are going to come back mad and they're injured and they're banged up, but they're still even a little bit banged up. They're still phenomenal as a
Yeah,
football team. And I
agreed.
think, but
I just don't think that the Vikings without Justin Jefferson are as competitive as everybody thinks.
yeah.
And
So then,
he's not gonna be playing.
so that concludes third down or second down. Sorry,
Second down.
third down, lock and upset. I'm 5-1 on locks after the Dolphins beating the Panthers, and I am now 2-4 on upsets after the Colts lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. You are 3-3 with locks after the Chiefs won against the
Broncos.
Broncos, and now you are 5-1 on upsets after the Commanders just won against
The Falcons.
yeah. So good upset guy.
I already have a feeling
I'm a
what
really
you're
good lot.
upset at. I already feel like what I have a feeling of what your lock and your upset are.
I don't know what my upset yet. I don't have my upset picked yet, but I do have my lock. My lock is the Seahawks. The
Your lock
Seahawks.
is the Seahawks. Lock Cole in for the Seahawks to beat the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep. It was almost, and it was my second lock. I didn't like a lot of these matchups. I don't like the Bills as a lock either, the way they played this past Sunday. I had the Browns as my other team I was debating with a lock. And part of me just thinks in Indianapolis, they could get crazy and who knows. But
Lock of the week. Dude, I kind of want to go with that one, but I it's gonna be my pick six, so I might lose two games. Um, fuck. I don't know. Fuck it, I'll just go with that. Lock of the week, 49ers against the Vikings.
okay, that's a good one.
I'll do that. I really agree with you. 49ers are going to be pissed off. I don't think the Vikings defense is that great. They've scored 2 defensive touchdowns in their last 2 games, and that's kind of been the difference in their games. So, oh my god, the line to Chargers Chiefs just changed live for me while I'm looking at it.
What does it go to?
It's locked out. Let me just refresh. But that means it changed. It's now 6.
Sheesh. Yeah, I got upset. I have the Jags. I'm gonna go Jags +3.
That's your upset. Interesting.
You thought I was gonna go Packers?
No, it's going to be my upset now that you didn't take it. Lions.
Oh fuck. I'm an idiot. I just didn't even see that one. I'll give it to you.
That's so our lock this week. Cole's got Seahawks. I've got the Niners. Upset. Colts got the Jags over the Saints. I got the Lions over the Ravens. I think that's going to be a really good game too. So I could be completely wrong.
Then we go to fourth down, best and sneakiest matchups. My best matchup, Dolphins Eagles. We already talked about it. Sneakiest, I got Falcons at Bucks. I think that's going to be a game where it might be a little low scoring, a lot of defense, but it's going to be a close game in the fourth quarter, and it's going to have a lot of implications for the NFC.
Yeah, and playoff because just those two teams being in the same division. I think best matchup this week. I'll take just to be different from you, and then I want to recap our ones from last week. I think the best matchup is Lions Ravens. Interesting battle. Honestly, two teams that I don't ever see playing each other. Like, when's the last time the Ravens played the Lions? Be honest. I mean, obviously it's like 4 years ago, but like, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
I think John Harbaugh is a very good coach. We'll get his guys ready. Dan Campbell is kind of proving himself to be that way. I like the Lions offense. It's interesting to me with how like their running backs are getting banged up, like how it's going to fall more on Jared Goff. Could this be like a breakout game for Jared Goff and like he really hones in like himself against the Ravens, or can Lamar Jackson put it together in the red zone and we put up a question mark? Dude, now I just convinced myself I shouldn't take the Lions as my upset. Uh anyways, sneaky matchup. I'm gonna do Steelers Rams. I think that's another one where don't see these two teams play a lot. I think that the Steelers are coming off a bye week. Maybe you'll see some changes to their offense, a little like little different wrinkles. Maybe you'll see a little bit more Jalen Warren. I'm a Jalen Warren guy. I hate the Steelers, but I like Jalen Warren. I think I don't know if he's better than Najee Harris, but every time I see him get the ball, it seems like he accumulates more yards or is harder to tackle than Najee Harris. I don't know. I think that matchup has like a lot of going on it. Two teams that are like middle tier that have two solid defenses. I think Steelers defense is a little bit better than the Rams defense, but the Rams offense is definitely better than the Steelers offense.
Yeah.
I think that'll be an interesting one for it to unfold, especially being a 4 o'clock game.
So then we have our last best matchup. Mine was the Seahawks Bengals. Okay. That was an okay game. Kind of an ugly game, but it was close. It came down in the last series. Sneakiest matchup, Commanders Falcons. Not really.
Yeah,
Not
Commanders
really at
definitely
all.
had that game in hand.
Again, it had implications. So
Yep,
that's why I think it mattered, but still. And then yours, you had the Cowboys Chargers.
which is still yet to be determined. Maybe this might be a blowout.
Sneakiest Vikings Bears turned out to be like a good game, but just like it would have been a lot more interesting with Justin Fields in it
With
for
Justin
sure.
Fields in, yeah. Yeah, and then obviously I didn't pick it thinking that Justin Fields would get hurt, but I think it's time, Cole, for everybody's favorite.
Six.
Pick six.
All right, you go one, I'll go one.
Yep. So last week Cole already covered it. I went 5-1. Pretty good. Pretty good.
And Cole is 3-2. And he can go 4-2 or 3-3.
Yeah, and if he goes 3-3, we're all tied up. Record books, throw them out. It's 0-0 score.
So I'm 22-13. You're 22-14 on the season. Go ahead, first pick.
Oh, you want me to start this week?
Yeah.
All right, I went back and forth with my picks, but I think I like the Commanders. I like the Commanders even being favored by 1. I think the Commanders I think they might be putting something together. They're 2?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is a 2. Sorry. All right, yeah, I'll take the Commanders +2. I mean, -2.
I got the Saints -3.
Saints -3. Yeah, interesting one if Trevor Lawrence doesn't play. I'll be wow, that could be bad. Next one, I'll take Lions +3.
Lions +3. I also have Lions +3.
All righty. Lions +3, Lions +3. My next one, I'll take the Raiders -3. Ugly game. Brian Hoyer, Tyson Bagent, maybe. If Justin Fields plays, I feel like I might change that. Let me check on Justin Fields' status. Let me
I
real
also
quick.
have I also have the Raiders -3, whether or not Justin Fields plays.
Raiders -3 for both. I was not thinking you would take that.
Don't fucking try to go against me.
I don't like to go against you. I just like to pick different games. I don't remember who has him. He's doubtful. Doubtful for week 7. Dislocated right thumb. I don't think he'll play. So I'm still going to take the Raiders. You take the Raiders. That's 3 picks each. My next pick. Ooh, I don't like that one anymore. But I do like to have 2 underdogs. So I'll eliminate that one and I'll change it to Rams -3.
I also have the Rams -3.
God damn it.
I think that's going to be our last ones that we have with the same note.
All right, so that's 4 picks each. My next one, I'm going to do it to you. Packers -1.
Packers -1.
I think the Packers might put it together. I don't know. I just think they might get healthy, and you might see
the PS Tavern appearance.
Yeah, let me get some Jello shots. Keep it going. We start singing that song.
Okay.
All Browns fans that know me just know that when the Packers play and I'm at PS Tavern, as long as the Browns aren't playing the Packers, I am a full-blown Packers fan. Like, I just want Jello shots for free. I don't care.
And cheap beer for raffle tickets.
And raffle tickets. Dude, when I went there alone, not alone, but I went there without you, I was drinking purposely, trying to get raffle tickets to win the jersey so I could be like, hey, man, this is what I got you.
Okay, yeah. So what is this? My 4th, 5th?
Yeah, no, it's our 5th pick.
I have the Browns -2.
Oh, you fucking dick.
That was my lock game that I went away from just from the kind of eeriness, but
yeah. And then so are we gonna take is the Chargers Chiefs now 6, or are we gonna stick at -5.5 or 5.5?
Let's stick at 5.5.
Okay, I'm still gonna take the Chargers with the points. And this entirely could change if like something crazy happens in this fucking game.
I have the Eagles -1.5.
That was the other one I was thinking about doing, and then I liked the Bucks -2.5, but I changed from Bucks -2.5 to now Chargers +5.5. And I really like the Eagles at 1.5.
So to recap, you have the Commanders -2, the Lions +3, the Raiders -3, the Rams -3, the Packers -1, and the Chargers +5.5. I have the Saints -3, the Browns -2, the Lions +3, the Raiders -3, the Eagles -1.5, and the Rams -3.
Yep, that's our pick 6 of the week. A lot riding on this Monday night game that's coming up right now. With our standings, we still have yet to decide a punishment, my friend. I think by week 8 or 9, we'll announce it.
Yeah.
On to our final segment, the one that we introduced last week. Who's got the juice? So last week I said Brock Purdy had the juice, and that did not go into the game on Sunday. Totally lost his juice. Got deflated. Juice ran out. Had to go to the store, get a refill for this Vikings game. Who was your pick for who's got the juice?
David Montgomery, who also got injured and had less than like 20 yards. Literally.
Oh my God. So maybe this segment will become a curse, but my who's got the juice is Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins. Tyreek Hill is averaging like 136 yards per game right now. Insane numbers. He's on pace for like 2,300 yards this season. That will like literally shatter Calvin Johnson's 1,964 yard season, which is just crazy that he did that in 16 games. Now we have the 17th game, yada, yada, yada. But still, 2,300 yards would be insane. Tyreek Hill's got the juice, consistently bringing it every week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I agree with you on that one. That's a good offensive pick. I'm gonna bring the first defensive player, and Max Crosby is my who's got the juice. Basically won the football game for the Packer or for the Raiders against the Packers, and then basically won the football game for them against the Patriots with that safety. Just completely dominated against the run.
And won my pick of Raiders -3 because of that safety
Yeah,
to cover the spread.
yeah, same with both of us.
Yeah.
Uh, he's ultimately, I would say, the best player on that team, and I would say that with, and Devontae Adams doesn't get utilized, but with Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, like they're stars on that team, and I'll pick him as the best guy, and he's got the juice.
I like that pick a lot too, Max Crosby. I was literally thinking in my head today, if like I really want the Raiders to just suck and I want the Browns to trade like 2 first-round draft picks for Max Crosby, and then I can watch Max Crosby and Myles Garrett for the rest of my life.
Very fun.
I don't plan on living a long life if no one knows that.
Huh?
All right, that concludes MnM going deep. Any final points? Any touchings that we want to anything we want to touch upon?
Go Chargers.
Go
Going against.
Chargers. Yeah. Bring the fucking juice, Justin Herbert. Like I said, that concludes another episode of MnM Going Deep, week 7. We'll catch you next week, next Wednesday for MnM Going Deep, week 8. See y'all later. Go Browns.